All right. Hello, friends, and welcome to another exciting episode of Keyframes. In the last episode, we stopped off with a stranger walking into the kitchen where Jamie is hiding. I'm trying to do my best of making sure that he is not caught because he doesn't seem to really want to interact with people, but we'll have to see whether or not I can get him out of this situation or what exactly is going to be happening here. I'm excited to see more. I'm really enjoying this game, and I hope that you are as well. But let's hop into the episode and see what happens next. How long have you... Whoa, wait, Jamie? Damn, I tried my best, man. There was a half-decorated cupcake left on the kitchen island, as well as a piping bag. Jamie was standing in the dining area, far enough away that it was clear he tried to stay out of sight. Hello? I didn't know you were here. Oh, but this makes sense. Jeez, this is a ton of cupcakes. Uh-huh. And why are you here? Oh, we had to use the restroom. Not we, my friend. Right on cue, footsteps came back from elsewhere in the house. Jamie stepped back towards the counter. His shoulders sloped downwards, and the volunteer next to you raised their voice. Hey, in here. You're not gonna believe this. What? Why are you... Oh. Hi, Jamie. The first student peeked into the kitchen, then scampered in with a wide smile. Their eyes were instantly glued to Jamie, to the point that they almost pushed by you on their way in. If these two had their way, they'd be behind the kitchen island in a second, cooing over the finished cupcakes. With 2 steps in, Jamie put a hand up, his expression polite, but distant. Please stay on that side of the kitchen. I'm still working on these. You've been in here making cupcakes the whole time? Man, if we told people it was Jamie in the kitchen, our guest list would have exploded. As they spoke, the second student reached out, and Jamie smoothly plucked the half-decorated cupcake off the island before they could touch it. He picked up the piping bag with his other hand, finishing the rosette on top instead of replying. It didn't help much. If anything, it gave the volunteers something else to talk about. I swear these things look almost too good to eat. Almost. But really, you could have asked Raina for help. This is so much to handle all by yourself. It wasn't difficult, a little time-consuming. Jamie's sentences were oddly short and quiet, but the low volume of his words seemed to encourage the two to crowd a little closer. Come on, you make it look easy, that's all. I know I couldn't do this much detail. The last time I had to decorate cupcakes, I just spread the frosting with a knife. Their giggle twirled and pitched into a higher octave, just as the oven timer went off. Jamie reached to turn it off, picking up an oven mitt and opening the door. Are you sure you're not in the food sciences program? I mean, I know there was a pastry degree or something. If there was a pastry degree or something, you'd be in it. More like teaching it. Jamie Porter on the faculty? The school would be swimming in tuition fees. And they left, bumping each other's shoulders with easy, raucous humor. You shuffled from one side to keep from getting jostled, when what they said replayed in your mind. Jamie Porter? What was it that Raina had said? You'd know him unless you lived under a rock. You knew what the campus rumors said, of course. Somehow you'd gone almost 2 full years without seeing the man yourself. But you'd heard things here and there about a certain transfer student whose smile charmed anyone in a single glance, okay? His good looks, effortless grades, and princely manners made him a shoo-in for the position of campus boyfriend, okay? People loved to talk about him, no matter what program or year they were in. And you'd been decorating cupcakes with him, completely unaware until the final clue fell into place. But seriously, what do I have to do to get a cupcake early? Jamie shook his head, placing the last freshly baked cupcake onto an empty rack. Automatically, he picked up a cooled one, piping half a rose as he spoke. They're not finished. Well, not all of them. What about that one? They leaned forward, lifting a hand to either point at the cupcake in Jamie's hand or reach for it outright. Jamie stepped back, and they pulled their hand away, sucking in a breath that turned into a sly chuckle. Yo, just kidding. I see how hard you're working on that one. Got any rejects lying around? I'd be pretty surprised if they were. Yeah, good point. Like Jamie Porter ever messes anything up. The atmosphere in the... Can I just, like, kick these guys out already? This whole entire time, the second that they walked in here, I'm like, I will physically remove you from the premises. Just give me the fucking chance, game. The atmosphere in the kitchen had chilled since the volunteers had come in, but neither of them seemed to notice. Glancing at Jamie, you noticed he was studiously avoiding eye contact with everyone in the room, you included. Huh? I have stats? Your choices and keyframes can impact your main stats, which are divided into 4 categories: confidence, charisma, compassion, composure. Some interactions may involve hidden stat checks, and success or failure will impact the story you're playing through. Oh. Try not to stress. I will. They're mostly for flavor. No, I want to be good at everything. Back, I guess. These volunteers had to go and you'd send them on their way. That's me. I want to see though, because they say Wato. Cameron was here. Stop doodling all over Kit's notes. Relax, this page is blank anyways. LMAO. Okay, I am compassionate, I'm pretty composed, and I have Riz. Hell yeah, but I'm not very confident. His stats, Watto? What are the odds? Oh, I guess that's something for later. I won't read it right now. And then the quick time events, which we haven't gotten to yet. I was just interested. I wanted to know my stats. Okay. That feels a little too out there for me. I'm gonna say enough was enough. Just kidding, I failed. Hey, the party's gonna start soon. Your voice barely wavered as you interrupted, and you kept your head up and shoulders loose as the volunteers turned to look at you. There were times to put your foot down, and this was one of them. We're going to inconvenience everyone if we can't get ready on time. Maybe we should... Hey, read the room. Jamie doesn't mind, does he? He does. Get the fuck out. Oh my god, let me push them. They overrode you without a scrap of hesitation, and you balked despite yourself, taking a little too long to put the next attempt together. It didn't escape your notice that they hadn't actually bothered to get Jamie's opinion, but that was because they were staring at you. I'm just saying, we're all volunteering and Raina gave us jobs to do. Yeah, and we'll get to them in time. Why are you so worried? Seriously, chill out. We're just chatting.
If you don't mind, I need to keep working.
It was Jamie's turn to interrupt. He slid a rack of cupcakes onto the kitchen island, pointedly keeping them out of the volunteers' reach, and when he looked up at the 3 of you, an unwelcome feeling of awkwardness crawled down your spine. Oh, it's no bother, you can...
I'm afraid it's more crowded than I prefer.
He left it at that. They, took a step, looked back. His level stare saying the rest. Reluctantly, the 2 volunteers trailed through the dining area, glancing over their shoulders at Jamie every few steps, as if he'd change his mind. So, we'll catch you later then? See you at the party. Finally, the back door shut behind them, and the kitchen was quiet. I tried my best, man. I'm sorry, I failed my confidence check. In the wake of their departure, Jamie let out a slow, calm breath. I suppose that was inevitable. Yeah, sorry if I made things worse. You cleared your throat awkwardly, rejoining him at the counter and picking up a piping bag. The words had stung a little, but at least it was over. You said the quiet part out loud. Not necessarily a bad thing. Well, they weren't fucking getting it, so I felt like I had to say it out loud. Like I said, if that was real life, the 100%, I am literally pushing them out the door. Get out or I'm going to tell Raina. Jamie shrugged non-committally, sliding a flesh rack, of cupcakes between you. In any case, I do appreciate you trying to help. You're welcome. He reached over, dotting 3 simple leaves onto the edge of your cupcake in a second gesture of thanks. Jamie stepped away for a moment, checking whether the final batch of cupcakes was still warm. You stayed to the side, finding a steady rhythm and piping some flowers in quick, careful succession. You glanced at him once or twice as you worked, noting the way he angled his face away from you. Now that he knew you knew who he was, there was a wariness in his posture that hadn't been there before. He was Jamie Porter, after all, and you'd practically thrown yourself under a bus to get the other volunteers out of the house. If there was a time for you to go all starry-eyed on him, it'd be now. He didn't want others finding him in the house for that very simple reason, and thinking back, Raina's hesitation when she sent you here made complete sense. How many are left on your side? He asked you a throwaway question, and you glanced away to count the cupcakes within reach. Even if you were trying to keep your cool, the musical lilt of his voice was hard to ignore. Fewer than 10 left. Not too bad. It does go surprisingly quickly, provided there are no distractions. When he looked at you, he had a small smile on, the same polite peach crescent that he greeted you with when you first met him. It didn't look like there were any hard feelings about everything that had happened, at least on the surface. Maybe he did wait for you to finish more cupcakes on your side before he reached over to start adding any details, but he did add them. For all intents and purposes, you had your workflow back. The number of undecorated cupcakes dwindled steadily, and you even tried your hand at a few leaves and vines once you felt up to it. Eventually, Jamie tapped his finger on the counter, breaking your focus. Okay, the last batch needs another 10 to 15 minutes to cool, so you can finish up and go back to Raina. You sure? I can stick around. It's fine, you can tell Raina I'll be finished in time. You couldn't really hold it against him if he wanted some time to himself. It was as good as a time as any to get back to the others. Then I'll go let her know. Thanks for helping me help you. Of course. You left through the back door, making sure to lock it behind you. Immediately, you were hit by a wave of sound, chatter and clatter in equal measure, as students hustled back and forth across the lawn. Thoughts about him in particular? I know we didn't do thoughts about the first character. But Jamie in particular, I do not fucking care if you're some popular ass man. Oh my god, he's like the perfect boyfriend. So? Also, he's just straight up not my type, so. Anyway. Jeez. You knew Raina went hard on the school-sanctioned events, but you didn't think she'd go this far for a trial run. And speaking of, skirting around a group of other students, you looked high and low, circling around the most crowded parts of the yard. Towards the back, the property transitioned into the riverbank, and it was there that you spotted Raina, standing under a grand willow tree with her hand to her chin. Time to check in. I'm back. Kid, my dear. She looked over her shoulder, her signature smile blooming on her lips as she spun on the balls of her feet. Okay, so, how'd everything go? Raina regarded you with a concerned tilt of her head, her smile cooling a little. I heard there was an interruption, maybe? I mean, it was kind of unavoidable, but they did leave eventually. Uh-huh. Anyway, your friend said he'd definitely be done on time, and that's why I'm back. You were careful not to state said friend's name out loud. Raina arched an eyebrow, and a knowing glint entered her eye as she held her hand out for you to return her spare key. And how'd you get along with that friend of mine? You helped him because Raina asked you to, and you didn't really care for his company. You didn't really care for his company past that. That sounds maybe a little bit mean. He was skittish and for good reason. I don't know. This is the sort of choice that I would like to choose it and then be able to go back and choose some other choices just to see like what exactly they mean by some of these things. But I can't. They turned off my back. I hate when visual novels do that because like I'm saying, for something like this, I'm not 100% sure that you didn't really care for his company isn't going to be mean. I don't know the tone of this game that well. So what if I choose it thinking that it's just like, oh, I'm feeling fairly neutral about him, and the game's like, I fucking hate him. I'm gonna choose it anyway, but I'm hoping it's not I fucking hate him. Alright, I guess. I don't know what his deal is, and I don't really want to know either. That's kind of not great, but fair enough. Well, you were gone for a while, so I'll trust you're the reason he'll do just fine. Thanks. Rena clapped her hands softly together, bobbing on her feet as she slipped back into administration mode. There's one more thing. Cam's getting the food started so you can join them and help man the grills for a while, okay? The grills? Suddenly, Rena's smile looked a lot more nefarious. You do know about... I do? I'm of the opinion they deserve as many chances to improve as it takes. Okay, so Cam's apparently not good at cooking. Rena, and besides, I'm sending you to look after them, aren't I? You're an enabler. Always. Now go before they burn something, okay? What does this mean? You were off like a shot, zipping between tables and students while trying to keep a calm face. Cameron wasn't a bad cook at all. The problem was they'd be working near an open flame. You wouldn't go as far as to say they were a pyromaniac, but, well, they tended to call fires pretty, and they had a fondness for staring right into them. You could smell coals catching. Oh no. Skidding onto the scene, he whipped an accusatory finger up to point at a certain ill-assigned grill master. Down, Cam, down! Cameron yelped, spinning around with their hands and a pair of tongs held towards the sky. Kid, I was just... Shush, I've caught you gasoline-handed. My hands are clean! It was a figure of speech. Also, you know you can't be 5 feet near an open flame. The Magma Carta binds us all. Aw, you don't have to invoke that, do you? The grill covers the fire, so... They deflated with a dramatic sigh, peeking at you with furtive hope. You, Deja, and Cam had a number of binding agreements between you, thanks to various incidents over the past 2 years. The Magma Carta was one of the more serious ones. That didn't mean there wasn't room for leniency, of course. You just had to be sure it was safe leniency. Well, the good news is Rena sent me to help you. Just promise to take this seriously. Cam's eyes sparkled, and they pressed a curled fist to their chest, nodded, and turned to find you an apron. You were officially on the line with trusty Cameron as your head chef. And we're off. Fire at will. Just kidding. Kebabs. I almost say kebabs. And burger patties hit the grates with a chorus of happy hisses, and Cameron clicked their tongs gleefully. The air quickly filled with the smell of cooking meat, and volunteers all over the yard started to perk up. Food hitting the grill, of course, meant that the prep time was winding down, and the party would be starting soon. The end was within sight, or within scent. Now we're at a barbecue. Hit, grab that tray. You got it. With your own pair of tongs, you spiked skewers and patties in rows, swapping out trays as you needed. Cameron flipped a fresh batch on right afterwards, and working together, you had the first of several buffet tables stocked in no time. Then came the vegetarian options, the mixed skewers, the hot dogs, the buns. Tray by tray, stack by stack, you worked in tandem, creating easy jokes and laughs under the cheerful spring sun. Ahem, ahem. It's time, people. We're gonna have guests arriving soon. The squeak of a megaphone drew your eye to where Rena stood, waving one hand overhead as she waited for everyone to turn her way. She wore a wide, brave smile, and the crowd naturally hushed as the student government waited for its president to speak. No time for pep talks. I appreciate you all for being here, and I have no doubt this is going to be a great event. Let's keep our heads in the game, but let's also have fun, okay? Now on 3, we all scream, "Let's go, chickadees!" 1, 2, let's go, chickadees! And the party was on. The volunteers dispersed with loud cheers, and music started to play from speakers set up on the lawn. There was an answering cheer from outside, and the first guests came through the gates in droves. Welcome, everyone. I know I asked you to come hungry, but give our crew a little more time, and that way we'll have something ready for everyone. Dance, play, run, have fun. Go on. Reina's voice blared through the megaphone once more, effortlessly steering all the new arrivals away and saving you and Cameron from an untimely, ignoble end. You glanced at each other with rueful grins, but before you could pick up the next tray, the SGB Prez herself popped up right next to you. Hello, my little helpers. In a flash, she held both sets of tongs in her hands, clicking them as she nudged you both aside. Thanks for all your hard work. I'll take over from here. We're free? Thanks to Kit, who reduced your sentence by keeping you all honest. She winked, waving dismissively as you and Cameron said about untying your aprons. Deja should be around the fire pit if you're looking for her. Go pray. Go pray. Go play, frolic, so forth. Frolic? It's a large backyard. Do what your heart desires. Now begone. With a final wave of her scepter, tongs, Reina turned back to the grill. Newly dismissed, you and Cameron hustled back towards the riverbank, circling around the crowds until you reached an area strewn with lawn chairs. Deja was right at the center, lounging with her bare feet kicked up on the edge of the unlit fire pit. Dee! Hi, Deja. You both sped into a trot, and you reached out to steady the lawn chair as Cameron folded down onto their knees to flop over Deja's legs. Hello, my doves. How's the party? Barely started. While you claimed the second lawn chair, Deja lowered her head, a faint frown crossing her face. Cameron, why do you smell like smoke? Because I was cooking? She raised a single eyebrow, and Cameron sat up to pass the buck, scrambling away to perch on your armrest with a mischievous laugh. Kit was supervising. The fire was very pretty. I'm kidding. Reina put us both on grill duty for a bit. You should have seen the folks prepping the food earlier. They were putting skewers together so fast I thought I was seeing double. Were they working outside? Pretty much. I heard someone saying they weren't allowed in the kitchen, so yeah. What were you up to, Kit? I was indoors decorating cupcakes. What? That sounds more like fun than work. Not necessarily. I'm going to guess it was an unholy amount of cupcakes. Something like that. The impulse flickered briefly into your head to reveal who you'd been helping, but before you could raise the point, Cameron stretched out on the grass with a cozy sigh. Well, we finally get a little bit of downtime. Deja, how about you? Your roommate grimaced gently, gesturing down at where her heels lay abandoned under her chair. After I was done delegating, Reina asked me to bring care packages to her neighbors to apologize for all the party noise. Man, when Reina plans a party, she plans to kill. Tell me about it. I had to make so many trips back and forth. Hey, check it out, 10 o'clock. You glanced casually to one side, spotting two people setting up a volleyball net on the riverbank. Nearby, a third person stacked spare cases of drinks, establishing the corners of a makeshift court. I hate to say it, but that looks like a safety issue. They're all adults. Besides, it looks like they know what they're doing. As Deja waved a hand lazily, one of the strangers spun a volleyball in their hands, laughing at something their friends were saying. It certainly did look like they were in their element. Why haven't we ever played volleyball? That was a joke, right? I'm going to assume that was a joke. Deja's easygoing smile chilled, and he smothered a small chuckle. It's a little fast-paced, huh? Yeah, I don't know if you've forgotten this about me, Cam, but sports and I don't mix. Cameron shrugged, absentmindedly ripping up a handful of grass to fiddle with. Come on, volleyball's fun. What's so fun about it? All sports are the same. You run around, you sweat, you go home. It's way more than that. For one thing, the players are in different positions and everyone's got their own strengths. So you have to build a team first, and then you're down to things like, okay, are you a quick tempo team or are you built around your libero? Around your what? And then if you're an aggressive team, what happens if your rivals are aggressive? Or what if they're really defensive? Then you've got to adjust on the fly, and the whole time you've got to keep the ball moving like boom and blam and shoot. Cameron, where is this coming from? How come you know so much about volleyball now? Anime. Cameron, that's anime. In real life, I'm gonna sit in the shade and I'm gonna relax. It's just volleyball, at least it's not, I don't know, soccer. You laughed softly to dispel the rising tension, and Deja gave you a sharp look, before her expression softened into something calmer. Cameron had caught on as well, and they eased off the pressure, turning to you instead with a rueful shrug. Wait, have you actually played before? I haven't. Yeah, I've played volleyball before. Oh, then could you play with me sometime? I mean, not today. I guess. Maybe fate was listening though, since in the next instant you heard rapid footfalls on soft grass. Running up to you was one of the volleyball players, the one who'd had the ball.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey. With a stranger in the mix, Cameron immediately clammed up. Out of the corner of your eye, you noticed them slipping down to sit awkwardly on their hands, dreaded grass and all. You and Deja settled smoothly into your respective roles without missing a beat. We're doing fine. How about you?
Oh, yeah. I'm Elio, he/him.
Elio, okay. Well, not always, let's be real, this is my first time playing the game. I originally read it as Elio, but I'll try to remember. Elio. Okay. He stuck a hand out and you took it for a brief shake. Nice to meet you, Elio. I'm Kit, they, them pronouns. That's Deja.
She, her, thanks.
And this is Cameron, they, them. Cameron meekly nodded, not quite making eye contact as they mustered a small smile.
Nice to meet you all. So, hey.
Elio jabbed a thumb over his shoulder, pointing to the volleyball court with a bright grin.
My buddies and I are gearing up for a game, and, well, 2-on-1 isn't exactly an even match. Any chance you three would want to play? Just for fun, no points. Unless you want them.
At the glint in his eye, you said you had half a feeling he actually preferred to play for points, no matter what he said. It was Cameron's golden opportunity, practically falling into your laps. But when you looked at them, Cam was staring down at their legs, looking a little shaky. You know, can you give us a quick moment?
No prob. You know where to find me.
Elio jogged back to his friends, and at your beckoning, Deja helped you nudge Cameron up and towards the big willow tree, its trailing branches giving you some privacy from the rest of the party. Cameron, are you okay? Yeah, never mind, I changed my mind. Hands fisted in the hem of their hoodie, Cameron kept staring straight down at their feet, all traces of earlier excitement snuffed completely out. Cam, if this is because... No, I know you don't like sports. Forget I said anything. I got carried away. It's fine. We can sit. I don't want to play. You and Deja exchanged silent looks. It was never easy seeing Cameron freeze up like this. They were an effervescent, sincere person, always ready to have fun, but they were also a huge wallflower whose anxiety often forced them to stay on the sidelines at larger events. It was unfortunately very easy to guess that they were mentally kicking themselves for backing down. This time, when you looked at Deja, you made a slightly pleading face. Well, it's a party. Better Reina's backyard than an actual gym. The fact that she was even considering it was a major concession, but one you knew she'd be willing to make. She was a strong-willed person, and you loved her for it, but Deja was never one to crush a friend's wishes outright. The problem was that this particular wish involved physical exertion, which Deja loathed with perfect simplicity. Cameron was already backtracking, and so, as a friend to them both, he merely had to contribute a little change of perspective. How about this? What are the odds we play volleyball today? Deja paused, tilting her head with a thoughtful sound. More importantly, Cameron paused too, and they actually peeked up at you, starting to look cautiously interested. 3? 3? Man. Could be worse, at least it's not 2. A 33% is still 33 more than I'd prefer, but... She shrugged gracefully, shedding her veneer of hesitation and sliding her hair back over one shoulder. Them's the rules. Them's the rules. Them's the rules. Okay. Sometimes you have to step out of your comfort zone. What are the odds is a game you, Deja, and Cam play. Your character may participate in a follow-up event. Okay. We've rigged that moment as an example, but when it's your turn to be prompted, we won't rig the results. Okay. There are 2 ways for Watto to start. You prompt someone to play, or a character prompts you. The prompter asks, what are the odds? The prompted gives a number between 1 and 10. The higher the number, the lower the chances. The 2 count down and then say a number between 1 and the response. Okay, so 1 and 3. If they choose the same number, the prompted has to do what was asked of them. If they didn't, then nothing happens. Okay. Okay. I think I understand. Okay, so Cam, it's you and me. Ready? In 3, 2, 1. Ooh, please type a number from 1 to 3. To be fair, they could have done this as, like, a list. We didn't have to type. I'm thinking 1. I don't know if you're thinking 1. I do want to play volleyball because you want to play volleyball. Not because I in particular want to play volleyball, but Watto, am I right? We both said 1. Well. Oh, nice. Before they could help themselves, they hopped, finding some of that excitement from earlier as they let a laugh out unbidden. To the side, Deja smiled and shook her head. It was impossible to be upset if they were going to be this endearing about it. For the record, you don't have to back down when it comes to us. I know, I just didn't want to push you. It's not fun if I'm the only one who wants to be there. You gonna be okay? They took a breath, then let go of their hoodie, nodding as they lifted their head. Yeah, I want to try. I have both of you, so it's not as terrifying, I think. That's good. Let us know when you need a break. I will. As you moved towards the volleyball net, one of Elio's friends caught sight of you first, lifting an arm for a friendly wave. At that, Elio turned to face you, wearing a wide, beaming grin.
Hey, you want to play after all.
Caveat, we're not going to be good, but yes.
That's great. Let's get some quick intros out of the way. Gang, these are our opponents. Opponents, meet the gang.
Oh, interesting. It's going to be us versus you. I thought that it was going to be, like, intermingled. Not exactly the best introduction, but it's a start. One of the gang was standing off to the side, apparently spacing out, but the other, redheaded with freckles, stepped up with another small wave. In the same movement, they plucked the volleyball out of Elio's hands, ignoring his little sound of protest. I'm Rory. I'm this guy's RA.
Come on. You're not just my RA.
Dude, I love you. I do, but saying your RA is your friend is like asking your parent to take you to prom.
What? No. You're still my friend.
Until your actual buddies get here, sure. And this... They leaned over, looping the third student under their arm and tugging them closer. Is Keegan. Both of us prefer he/they pronouns, and Keegs uses they a little more often. Don't take it the wrong way if they don't look at you. He's usually halfway out of whatever's going on. I'm listening. Sometimes you are, buddy. Sometimes you are. Keegan rolled their eyes gently before tilting their head at you. What's up? Ooh, what a better question. What's down? Also known as you guys after this game. I like that one.
Oh, God. That was painful.
Huh. There's, 2 of you now. I'm so looking forward to this.
You know I can tell when you're being sarcastic.
Me? Sarcastic? Never. Elio swiped quickly for the ball, and Rory stuck their arm out of the way before sticking their tongue out and dropping the ball into Elio's waiting hand.
So, simple game of keepy-uppy? Or do we want to play for points? Fair warning though, I'm not bragging, but if we play for real, I'll win.
Way to keep your teammates in mind, kiddo.
Okay, you can share in the title, but the crown's still mine.
There was that glint in his eye again, a hint of competitive spirit hidden by that easygoing smile. I'm here to kick ass and eat food, and the food's not ready yet. Elio cocked his head to one side, spinning the volleyball into a tricolored blur between his hands.
So, we're doing smack talk, huh? That mean you want to play for points?
Let's do it. Deja's eyes drilled a hole in the back of your head, but you held firm, putting a hand on your hips as you faced Elio with a confident smile. In times like these, it was important not to hesitate. Oh, better get your head in the game, Keegs. Looks like we're playing for keeps. Fun. Elio chuckled, the sound rumbling deep in his chest as he lowered his head. His next smile was toothier, shadowed by a mix of exuberance and ambition.
Then, why don't we play a full set? First to 25 points wins.
You're on.
All right, the first serve's all yours.
I have a feeling this is going to be when I'm going to need quick time events. Oh boy. Elio lobbed the ball underhand, sending it in a high, slow arc. You caught it with a low oomph, moving to the back line of the court as Elio, Rory, and Keegan ducked under the net. So, what now? I have to reiterate, I really don't know what I'm doing here. Kit, are you gonna be a blocker or a king? A king? Yeah, wait, no, that was an anime thing. I don't know what those words are. That's it, we're screwed. Let's just focus on having fun. Are we really doing that, Kit? No, you're right, I want to win.
Hey! You ready yet over there? Or are you guys getting cold feet?
Elio was stooped in the back half of his side of the court, with Rory in the opposite corner. Keegan idled up front with a much more relaxed posture, though even his eyes were trailing you, waiting quietly for you to make a move. You wish. Quickly, you cobbled together a rough strategy. Your friends would be closer to the net, Deja to set and Cameron to block and spike. You'd have to cover the rest on your own. Standing at the back line, you tossed the ball up once, then twice, testing its weight, then shifted your weight into a familiar stance. The ball spun a little in your grasp as you searched for the right grip.
Looks like someone knows how to play.
I'll be nice. Hey, no you don't. As Elio's RA, I demand you put him in the ground.
What he said. But also, Rory, what the hell?
Yep, there we are. Big time events. I knew it was gonna happen. Oh, key input results sometimes scale according to how many successful inputs you make. Okay. Here we go. I'm a little bit nervous. Taking a small running start, you lobbed the ball straight up. It caught a spin, rotating as it fell, and your hand met the ball with a hearty smack, and it flew neatly over the net, spinning furiously as it plunged towards the ground. I kind of wish that I did it slower just to have, extra time, but it's okay, I already put it to slow. For all his eagerness, Elio twisted too far as he moved to receive. Damn, and the ball smacked cleanly off of his bicep, bouncing clear out of bounds.
Holy shit! Nice kill!
Let's go. Cameron spun for a high five, introversion completely forgotten as they let out a victorious scream. Deja even clapped for you a few times, her earlier reluctance replaced by a small, satisfied smirk. So, 1-0? Elio laughed easily as he returned to the court, volleyball tucked safely under one arm. I'm not going to be able to carry this entire team, but...
Okay, I admit you got me there. Now, let me even the score.
Then the grin on his face sharpened, and without waiting another second, he tossed the ball for a serve and rushed forward. His arm came down like a warhammer. If your serve had sounded like a smack, his was a booming crack of sheer force, and the ball flashed by you in a blur, slamming into the grass right in front of the boundary line.
Oh no.
There it is. Come on, Elio, I thought you were going to give them a fighting chance.
Just our luck. Our first volleyball game is against literal, actual Hercules.
It's No, we've got this.
Do we, bestie? Do we?
After a few more volleys and some near misses, you found a clunky but steadily improving rhythm, okay? Come on, is that all you guys got? You slapped a hand on your thigh, dropping into a half squat as the ball rolled out of bounds on Elio's side again. He laughed openly, backing up into the corner with a shrug. Save your energy, the game's not over yet. This time, he tossed the ball up for a floating serve, and a fraction of a second after his hand connected, the ball slammed onto your side of the court, sending up a comical puff of dirt and grass. That could have been my face. 25 points was no walk in the park. The match wore on, and you tried your hardest to keep the gap between your teams as small as possible. It was admittedly difficult since Rory revealed that he was no amateur either, and with him and Elio trading offense and defense, they really had you scurrying across the grass. Keegan was thankfully a lot more lenient. They never strayed from their spot, saving their energy so they could jump, spike, and go idle again. Altogether, the match was fairly even, albeit thanks to different levels of effort. Finally, the game was heading for its natural conclusion. The race was neck and neck. Oh no! Your team was sitting at 24 points, just a single point ahead. For all your gusto, Deja and Cameron were starting to tire, and you could feel your own energy flagging. Your legs screamed for a break, and you could feel the pulsing in your thumbs from where you kept bouncing the ball back. How about we call it after this last volley? Oh, thank goodness. I mean, if that's what you want. Cameron psyched himself up with a fist stuck in the air, and Deja nodded grimly, her eyes closing as she caught her breath. Then let's make it count. Winner takes all. Man, but we were leading. Not by much. Actually, we're behind by a point. They don't know that. I do. You ready? Oh boy. Elio launched the final serve, and the court was plunged into slow motion. He leaped, arms swinging. His hand met the ball, and it sailed directly towards the back line, where you stood. Oh, God. You dropped, knees digging into the dirt as you braced your entire body under the receive. The ball ricocheted off your forearms, flying high overhead. Cameron looked between Deja and you, then up at the ball. They bit their lip, then reached up, ready to set. And Deja looked at you, pointing a manicured nail at the net, okay? It's up to you. Oh, okay. So you rushed forward, ignoring your weary body as you pushed for one final jump. The ball was set, and you pitched your arm back, slamming your palm straight into it with a satisfying, stinging smack. You spiked hard and fast, and Keegan barely got a hand out to deflect the ball at a hopeless angle. No! Elio flung himself down, and his fingers brushed against the ball, but it wasn't enough. Both Elio and the volleyball went rolling out of bounds. Oh my gosh, are you alright? Elio sat up, his hat askew and his face smeared with a little dirt. The damage couldn't be worse than a scratch or two, especially if he was laughing like he was. Shit, you got me. With a hand braced on the grass, he kicked smoothly back upright, tapping the ball with one foot to roll it back within bounds. Quickly, carelessly, he tugged his shirt up by the collar, using the fabric to wipe some of the sweat and dirt off of his chin. Good game, good game. We won? It's a real underdog story. We won! Laughing, you braced yourself as Cameron dragged you and Deja in for a hug, and the three of you stumbled and spun around like an ungainly, lopsided vinyl. We did it. See, and wasn't that fun? You didn't want to play earlier. I will still never play a volleyball game again for as long as I live. But I'll admit it was pretty fun. Ahem, is this thing on? Food's ready, everyone. Can I get a hell yeah? Like seagulls on a boardwalk, every single person at the party turned. By this point, the self-service tables were a mountain range of loaded trays and foil-wrapped goodies, but all eyes were on Reina as she stood with a megaphone in one hand and a spatula in the other. As her entire guest list stared at her in hopeful silence, she rolled her eyes, then brandished her spatula high overhead. I said, "Can I get a hell yeah?" Hell yeah, Reina. Hell yeah! It wasn't long before the crowd broke into cheers, and just like that, the spell was broken. All right, kids, you better get going. You're not eating? Oh, trust me, I'm eating. I'm just gonna go look for my partner first. I'm gonna bounce too. I'm gonna wait for the line to calm down a bit. Oh, okay. Thanks for playing, guys. Yep. If I see your boys, I'll tell them you're in line, yeah? Rory disappeared in one direction and Keegan drifted away in the other. Elio turned to the three of you, his smile going a little lopsided as he hazarded a question. So, are you getting in line too? I'd be skipping it if I could, so yes. Deja's SGB vice president. She was kind of in charge of setup after Reina. Oh, well, let's grab a spot. I told my friends I'd hold their place too, so that's where they'll know to find me. He didn't seem awkward at all about pulling you into the loop, even if you were still relative strangers. If anything, it looked like he was purposely leading for you rather than rushing for a spot in line. It's pretty nice of him. He was a good guy overall. He wasn't the only friendly stranger on campus, of course, and you'd only just met. That made it particularly sweet that he decided you were worth so much of his time and attention. Okay, roll it back a little bit. I was just saying that he was nice. Not that I wanted to marry the man. Yeah, sure, sounds great. Quickly, you hustled over, bunching together in between the other students waiting excitedly for their turn. Elio turned to and fro on his tiptoes, searching the crowds before he dropped back down with a shrug. Well, if they're not here when we get up there, I'll just grab a little extra of everything. Only a little extra? Elio jolted forward as someone thumped a flat palm between his shoulders. Whoa! There you are. Leaning over his shoulder was a familiar stranger with dark hair, her head tilting as they leveled an easy smirk at the rest of you. When their eyes met yours, they lingered. Ooh. The smirk widened a centimeter. Hey, you. Huh. What were the odds? He grinned, lifting a hand for a small wave. Hey. I suppose this is your scooter story from earlier. Your scooter story, huh? You already know Percy. Wow, what a name card. Yep, that's me. He, him. So, it sounds like you heard what happened. More or less. Something about a rom-com? Deja. Well, in any case, I'm Deja, she, her. This is Cameron, they, them, and you've met Kit. They, them, by the way. Hey, for real though. Sorry about earlier. Huh? I wouldn't, With a gentle clap, he brought his hands together, bending forward slightly as his smirk was replaced by a genuinely apologetic smile. I know I was really joking around, and maybe you thought it was funny, in which case it's all good, but I'm still gonna apologize. I usually don't go that far when I'm meeting new people. Well, actually, I do. Which one is it? I just lay it on real thick if I think I won't meet someone again. It's a bad habit, and I'll own up to that. Whatever impression you have of me, I can only say I'm not like that all the time. No apologies necessary. It was a fun conversation. Never hurts to make sure. It's hard to believe, but sometimes people do get fed up with me. As you reached the front of the line, Elio started passing paper plates down to each of you, looking around one more time as he did. Jamie's not with you? I had a feeling all three of them were gonna be friends. I had a feeling. We found a good out-of-the-way spot to eat, so he's holding on to it. It's just us on food duty. Wait, Jamie as in... You let the question slip before you could think about it. Both Percy and Elio looked at you. Probably the one you're thinking about, yeah. It was just coincidence after coincidence, wasn't it? Your luck today was something else. This was a less than welcome surprise, but I don't hate him. But it wasn't like he could make a face in front of people who just revealed themselves as his friend. I just thought I was really neutral about him. I don't hate him, though. With a small shrug, he looked down, picking up a pair of tongs and sliding a few kebabs onto your plate. Oh, I only meant Raina asked me to help him out earlier. Jamie's here? I asked him if he would be, but he didn't even know the barbecue was happening. Percy and Elio underwent 2 reactions in quick succession. Cautious curiosity at your explanation, and then blank, undisguised shock at Cameron's comment. A tomato slice slid off of Elio's half-assembled burger, and without looking, Percy held out one of his 2 plates to catch it. You asked, like, in a conversation? Wait, now I need to double-check. Jamie as in Porter. Percy lowered his voice to a whisper, and Cameron hesitated before nodding. You and your roommate twisted around to look at them with quizzical expressions. Since when did you know Jamie Porter? Well, I mean, we've talked. I don't know if we're friends, but I see him around campus sometimes. That was unexpected. You didn't expect Cameron to share every single detail of their life with you, but now you felt a retroactive protective instinct rising in your chest. Maybe Jamie was a polite, well-spoken guy, but you knew he had it in him to be a little cold, too. I don't hate the man. If it turned out he'd ever turned his disapproval on Cameron, you'd simply have to throw down. Huh. Percy glanced at Elio, and Elio glanced at Percy. A look passed between them, reminding you of the way you, Deja, and Cam sometimes communicated with your expressions alone. Don't get us wrong, that's totally fine. We were just surprised, that's all. Yeah, no offense, but Jamie hasn't made another friend since we met him. We thought he didn't know how. Well, that's a little... Yeah, I can't say I haven't thought that sometimes. Not the sociable type. Let's put it that way, sure. But if you 2 already know him, want to eat together? Cameron balked up a little, but Deja pressed a drink cup and napkin into their hand, taking the chance to give them a small, encouraging smile. Sure? Yeah, if you don't mind? Why not? Sweet. Percy, is that enough food? Oh shit, hang on, let me just... You were loaded up and clear of the tables in a few more minutes, chatting idly as Percy led you on a long, circuitous route around the Lord. Thanks to the absolute abundance of food, people barely paid you any attention, and so you wound all the way back to the riverbank. It turned out the out-of-the-way spot was the fire pit. The long branches of the willow tree cast fluttering shadows over the 2 chairs there, one of which was already occupied. Oh, hello, Cameron. Jamie, glad you can make it. Cameron bounced forward with uncharacteristic ease, and Jamie tipped his head to one side, his eyes gaining the faintest of twinkles. He didn't quite smile, and in fact, as Percy ambled over to drop a plate into his hands, he even dared to frown. What's this? Exactly what you asked me for, whatever I'm having. Percy dropped down to balance himself on the armchair of Jamie's seat, and Elio settled on the edge of the fire pit with a soft chuckle. You and your friends arranged yourself almost in a mirror image, though Cameron sat on the grass so they could use the fire pit's stone border as a table. Deja tucked herself cross-legged into the remaining chair, and you turned sideways to sit on the arm. So, we hear you got some friends you want to introduce to us. Where? Jamie blinked, and when he didn't give up on the joke, Percy rolled his eyes and stabbed his fork into a chunk of grilled chicken. Never mind, I was going to make you introduce us to Cameron and Kit. That sounds unnecessary, but hello. He nodded to Deja, and she lifted her drink in a tiny toast before taking a sip. Hi, Deja, she, her. I know you already. Sure. They left it at that, and as you tucked into your meals, Deja changed the subject, tapping her fork thoughtfully against her plate. Elio, you go to a lot of campus events, don't you? Yeah, but how'd you know? I just remembered who you are. In the SG, we call you Galileo. You're the one who draws stars all over your feedback forms. Aw. What? I fill out the rest of the forms, too. You don't have to defend yourself, man. I never do them. You don't? Deja fixed Percy with a cool look, and Cameron coughed into their fist. Ahem, Deja's on board. Oh, I mean, I'm so very looking forward to filling out a form later. In your defense, those forms are very long. Remind me to look over your shoulder later when we're handing those out. You retreated into your plate with a little mumble, and Jamie chose then to reach over, sliding a patty and half of a bun onto Elio's plate. Ooh, this is going straight in my quadruple decker. Flipping the new additions on top of his already teetering burger, Elio squished the whole thing together, ignoring the condiments that oozed over his fingers, and managed one massive bite. That's genuinely terrifying. I've seen him accomplish worse. Are you not that hungry? Jamie lifted a kebab, using his fork to push the skewered components free. I'm usually a light eater, as Percy knows. Again, you tell me to get you what I'm getting you what I'm getting. Percy spoke with a hand to his mouth, shielding you all from any social mishaps as he finished chewing. Once he was done, he pointed his empty skewered, flicking it between Jamie and Cameron. And hey, don't think you're not explaining how you know each other. The public wants to know. It's me, I'm the public. What a coincidence, I'm also the public. My middle name is, in fact, the public. Yeah, I'll join in. Cameron pressed their lips together, picking at the tab of a canned drink they'd set aside. It's really not that much to talk about. They looked at Jamie and he shrugged lightly, contributing the barest of explanations. Bake sale, second year. Well, that narrows it down to approximately a full year of bake sales if your paperwork is right. Have fun figuring out which one it was. All I figured out so far is you're both third-year students. Jamie and Cameron nodded, and Deja twirled her finger to indicate everyone else. And the rest of us are all second years? Yep, astrophysics major. Biology, trying for a minor in math. Urban and environmental planning. And Cam and I are both poli-sci, but Cam's also majoring in philosophy. Philosophy? Percy, isn't that your current bet? Sure is. The two of them looked pointedly at Jamie, who calmly took another bite of salad. Maybe that's how they met. I'm not telling. Why? What's your major, Jamie? He won't tell us. We literally live with him and we still don't know. You weren't sure which half of that to focus on, the fact that these three were roommates. I'm focusing on that fact. Or the sudden emphasis on the mystery that was Jamie Porter. If I had to guess, I'd say some kind of engineering. Pre-med track? He shook his head twice in a row. Sports management. Theater would be so good too. Like some of these I could actually see being his major, though I'm saying the funny option. But like linguistics, I could kind of see that. He seems like a linguistics major. Theater. Nope. He says that every time. We'll get him one of these days. Can't you just look at his homework or... By now, the megaphone's whine and crackle was a familiar sound, and as the music dimmed, Raina hopped up onto her porch with a smile and a wave. Hey all, hope everyone's having a fun time. When her backyard erupted into cheers, Raina giggled and curled a lock of her hair behind her ear. Glad to hear it. I have an announcement to make. As you know, I am your SGB president, and thus it may surprise none of you to hear that today's party is a test run for a new yearly event. Welcome to the Student Government Scavenger Hunt. Oh boy. All right. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here for now. In the next episode, we're going to be working on the scavenger hunt, the big moment, $500 reward. And I'm really excited to get into it, try to see what all it is going to force me to do. I'm a little competitive bitch, and so I want to win, even if it's just in a video game. I'm excited to see more of this demo, and I hope that you are as well. But I'm going to go ahead and end this episode here for now. So thank you for watching this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one for some more keyframes.